Hey listeners, thank you for leaving us after this show. Well done. Why? Because we have 55 other fantastic shows that play 7. That's right, 7 days a week, every day from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. Our programs for the random radio and are guaranteed to rock your socks off. Also, look out for ticket giveaways and other promotions throughout the semester. If you need even more Black School Radio in your life, make sure to check out the amazing music, TV, and pop culture articles on our website. And remember to keep it locked on BlackSchoolRadio.com. Also, with that being said, guys, we have a ton of departments here on Black School Radio. We have sports, we have music, we have marketing promo, we have web, we have multimedia, we have all that stuff. All that information is on our website, BlackSchoolRadio.com. I'm your web director, Brandon Lewis. We are back here on Brandon's World, and I am here with Sean Fitzgerald. Sean, how does it feel being back in the studio?
And we're live. Yeah, it feels good. Welcome, everyone. It's good to be back in the studio. I've missed this. It's like if you've ever had like a withdrawal kind of thing, I'm just like, this is like what I need to be able to be successful. Just being here, I love it. Oh.
You know, I mean, this is, I like to think of this as a job. You know, I come in here prepared. Now, I didn't do any notes today because it's just more of an open-ended conversation. But usually, you know, I have notes, I have everything. It feels a little weird today not having all the stuff with me.
Yeah, totally. That's the same thing with me, is that I have to have, like, something in front of me, like, especially with a regular show. It's more so just, I cannot live without, like, having, like, a rundown or a note thing where I'm like, okay, this is kind of what we're going to talk about here, and there.
Yeah, but, you know, like I said, today is a little bit more of an open-ended conversation. This is not a part of our fall 2019 programming, so I cannot wait to get into all the discussions that we are going to have. First of all, Mr. Fitzgerald, how was your summer, buddy?
It was interesting. So, over the summer, one of the things that I was doing, I was actually going through physical therapy rehab. I had been dealing with, for the last year and a half, a form of neuritis in my knee, and I didn't know about it until just around finals week. So, as of right now, I wouldn't say I'm totally, you know, out of the clear, but I'm now a lot better. I can actually, like, walk around some days, and even most days now, without pain. But I was also, while I was rehabbing, I was able to play some baseball, which was pretty good. I did a little bit of umpiring, hung out with some friends, did one other job as well that was baseball type related, and really just, you know, took the summer to kind of just try and decompress while also doing some fun stuff, like do my podcast with Joe Schobert. If you haven't checked that out, go to blackschoolradio.com, scroll under the sports area, and you will find it there.
Yeah, and, you know, let's start, because you mentioned about baseball. Let's start with the Tribe.
Oh, yes, I love this.
So, listen, as you know, I think it was back in May, right, when we were really struggling. I sent a tweet out, and I said, is Jose Ramirez off steroids? And you, like, fired back. You're like, no, that's all thing.
I remember that.
I didn't care. Okay, look, we all know Jose's out 5 to 7 weeks with the injury. Look, I'll say it again. I don't care what people say. You can't go from hitting 5 home runs to 20 home runs in a month.
He was so pool happy.
This guy is back on the juice.
He's not on juice.
He's on the juice.
Also, I want to point out that the timeline of when his slump ended kind of started around the time that his kid was conceived. If you want to believe that or not, that's actually pretty accurate.
It may be coincidence, but you look at
But also, like, he's not on steroids. I think that's everyone's overreaction when everyone slumps or goes back out of a slump. He was not on steroids. He's just a natural pool hitter.
I just look at numbers. How do you go from 5 home runs to 20 to 40 and then down? And then
I can tell you from personal experience myself, and I said this on the show back then, I've gone into slumps myself. I've played baseball a lot of my life, and when you're in a funk, it can sometimes take you a long time to get out of it. And trust me, like, Jose has played through probably some injuries that we didn't even know about, and when he got healthy enough, he started swinging the bat, and when he finally got out of his own head, that's something that if you get in your own head and you start to press, you're going to start not hitting the ball, and that's what he was doing. Sure, he might have been hitting on the ground, but he was just way over aggressive. And then one thing that you don't really notice unless you're a student of the game is that over the last month or two, when he finally started to pick it back up, the biggest thing that he did to help himself was he started to lay off pitches again, because he was so over aggressive. He was so swinging at everything. I have to hit a home run. I have to get a double. What he did, he took a step back. He started laying off more pitches, had to make pitchers throw to him, and that resulted in more hits, more chances to hit home runs, RBIs, doubles, singles, triples, whatever. That was Jose's key.
But he had no power at the start of the year. Even when he hit the ball, they were lazy pop-ups.
And don't forget, cold weather also affects the ball.
Yes, it does.
Cold weather also affects the ball, but also, like, I understand, like, everyone else is hitting the ball this year. Well, guess what? There are people who, it's just literally, as I said, he was in his own head, and he was just trying to do too much, especially, like, think about it. Lindor was out the first half of the year. Lindor is a phenomenal talent. He's one of the most consistent hitters I've ever seen. And really, Jose, I think part of it is he just put too much on himself. And I think that when he got Lindor back, and then when you finally, like, get out of that funk, that's when everything starts to skyrocket. Because if you look at the stats since, like, June 1st or June 4th, like, they are, like, over 320 average, like, over, like, 400 OBP with a 600-plus slug. That is phenomenal. And
yeah, and that's my point.
I'm just saying, though, I doubt he's on steroids, and I think to say that he was is, I wouldn't say sacrilegious. I'd say it's very, very bold, and also I just call it a very bad take.
I'm saying there's no way. Last year, at least, there's no way. I mean, that guy was hitting every ball everywhere. There's no way he wasn't at least done something. I mean, come on.
Well, the only thing I could think of is maybe he was on the fertility drugs. If you did not see, folks, there's a story out the other week that basically said for the Players Union to avoid grabbing fertility pills at gas stations because they may be enhanced with PEDs somehow. And I'm not kidding you when I say that. My jaw just dropped.
Well, okay. What question was I going to ask you? Oh, I know. Two things. One, so when you're playing baseball, because I play baseball too, you know, there's guys that love to pull the ball. There's guys that love to go the opposite way.
I'm the one who pulls the ball, like,
See,
and I pull it hard.
Now, why do you, like, when I'm up there,
with the mechanics,
I just want to hit the ball. I'm not thinking about if I'm going to left or right
like,
field.
it's not that I choose to pull the ball. It's just my style of play because of how my mechanics are. Like, I'm set up in the box, and I'll try to give you as much of a visual representation as I can. So, like, I'll try to basically, like,
this man's
get into my stance, and then, like, try and, like, you know, just go into my natural flow, try to get everything going.
Right, but when you hit the ball,
But one of the things is, like, if you have your bat and it's coming out like this, like, where you're not keeping your hands inside, it's obviously going to go, like, foul, more often than not, unless you just hit it, like, right off the end of the bat. If you're keeping your hands inside, you have a chance to, you know, hit it to all fields. But also, if you're just naturally, like, your stance, your style is to hit it to one side of the field. Like, with me, I've kind of just relied on that because I'm someone who literally is a speed person, and I can get on base without much trouble as long as I can get a little bit of a start out of the box as soon as I hit the ball. Because if I pull it, I'm going to get singles, and that's one of my things. Even though I don't have the most power in the world, singles and my speed combined are like a 90% guarantee.
See, and you're a baseball guy, and I'm a football guy, so I don't understand anything about.
So, like, basically, like, Jose pulls the ball a lot, but when you just, like, keep your hands inside the ball, and, like, it's just too hard, though, at times. Like, if you're not a complete hitter, if you don't have every single facet of the game down, like, people like Joe Mauer, they were unshiftable. There are other people that are unshiftable too, but when you can pull the ball, that's good because you're trying to get it down the corners. But it's also one of the things is when you're able to hit it all fields, you can't really shift it against. So there's no pattern to really go against you.
See, now, and this is my thing. They talk about analytics in baseball all the time. You know, this launch angle and how fast. I don't buy any of it.
I don't buy the launch angle.
Hit the ball and see where it goes.
I don't buy the launch angle necessarily, but I do buy, you know, some of the speed stats. More so like the exit velocity. Like, that's a huge thing.
No, hit the ball, man.
I'm not talking, like, launch angle is different to me. Like, I just don't see launch angle as a stat. Like, you're using, basically, launch angle, you're just angling the bat a different way, or you're swinging through the zone a different way, and you're just labeling it as a stat. I don't see it as anything other than different than, oh, I'm just seeing how I'm swinging so I can hit more balls up and out. It's not really anything else. Exit velocity, however, that is an actual stat where how hard are you hitting it out of there? How hard is it coming off the bat? Exit velocity is actually an interesting stat to me because, like, how hard are you hitting it? Because if you're sending liners into the crowd, which we've had, unfortunately, so many of those happen, you see the exit velocity, and you're like, oh, like studies and stuff like that, it's unsafe sometimes, and that's why there's a lot of discussion about extending netting. So, but that's enough on that, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about these two big guys we got, Reyes and Puig. First of all, I want to talk about Puig a lot because I love this guy, and I know we're probably not going to keep him because of the money, and it's not about Doan. I will be the first one to stand up here and give Doan a round of applause for keeping this team in contention. But that's neither here or there. Secondly, this guy, when is the last time the Indians had a right fielder, let alone an outfielder, who can just fire it to home plate like it's not, I mean, and the accuracy.
I mean, the one thing that I was excited about Puig is that his arm, I've never seen, like, I remember, like, highlight reels with the Dodgers back in, like, 2013-14, where he would just, like, fire the ball at third base and, like, nail guys, like, 50 seconds before
it's a perfect throw, and if it's not a perfect throw, it's a 1 or 2 upper, and it's right in the glove. He's so accurate.
I mean, I honestly think he's one of the underrated fielders, more so just by arm strength.
Oh, that, and, by the way, not only that, but he can move for as big as he is.
He's like coming out of Cuba, and especially, like, the harrowing trip he took, I mean, he's done very well for himself. He really has.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, so with Puig, as I said, we know we're probably not going to keep him. So next year,
I hope you can maybe re-sign him. I don't think he's going to get a $20 million per dollar deal. I don't think he will.
If he continues on this pace, he might.
I don't think so. I think some teams will be wary of the headache and they won't give him the full value, but I think they'll give him, like, I think 12 to 15 million is not out of the possibility on, like, a 3 or 4 year deal. But I'd be hard pressed to say he'd get anywhere near 16. I do want to talk about Reyes there for a moment, though.
Let's assume real quick. Let's assume Reyes is the right fielder next year. I have one problem with Reyes.
I don't think Reyes is going to be the right fielder. I think you're going to have either Naquin, someone from the minors, or you're going to have Bradley Zimmer finally come back up and shift over, give him a little bit of something. Because Bradley Zimmer still has a lot of talent, and I'm still intrigued.
Does he?
I know he's been injured, but he's still on the comeback trail. Sometimes guys like this, there's someone who I'm forgetting right now, but, like, think of Rich Hill, for example.
You mean like Danny Salazar? I mean, he was
not like Danny Salazar. He's nothing like Salazar. He just had one bad injury, and then he got one other. I don't think he's Sizemore. I don't think he's Salazar. Give him next year. If he comes back healthy, I think he has a chance to be a good player.
So, because I'm trying to figure this out, so would you... And then, you still have Jake Bauers. I think people are forgetting about Jake Bauers.
Yeah, I mean, he needed more time to develop. You can see
I think he's okay. I don't think he's as bad as the fans think he is.
He was a top 100 prospect,
That's
and I still see value in him. And then, just with Reyes, though, getting back to him, he is a DH in this league. I would have loved to have gone like Manuel Margot from the Padres, but Reyes, you have a right-handed bopper with pop, and you don't have as many of those in your lineup, or you haven't had them for so long. I love having him at DH because he's basically your big Poppy.
I'm concerned about him, though, because I think he swings at way too many high pitches.
And I think that's where the hitting staff will be able to help teach him and overhaul some stuff a little bit, because they've worked with a ton of good hitters, and even Santana, he's been better than ever this year.
Yes, but here's the thing. When I'm watching Reyes, right now, you know what the scouting report on him is? For 3 fastballs upstairs, he swings it all 3 strikeout. That's the scouting report on it.
Yeah,
he does not lay off the high pitch. You have to lay off the high pitch.
Yeah, but think about Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo was kind of like that guy, and he has evolved. Yes, he was always able to hit like 30 home runs before his breakout where his average and OBP skyrocketed. But Gallo, I see some of Gallo in Reyes, and Reyes honestly has the chance to hit, like, if he hits 250, 260 with 30 plus home runs every year and about 80 plus RBIs, I am totally fine with that.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
And like he already has like over 30 home runs, and I think he's still like your home run leader, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, but here's the thing: postseason, you got a lot more better pitching, and these staffs.
I think the way that the ball is way different.
If you go up against Houston, Verlander, and these guys, they're just going to throw him the high fastball and he's going to swing and miss. I can see it already. I feel
like he knows that it's going to happen, that if he does go against those guys, he's got to lay off.
But there's sometimes you know and you just can't. I mean, there's just this urge.
I mean, that is true. You're not wrong about that.
I get it. You think you can hit it, so you're like, I'm going to get there. But every time it's a swing and miss, and it's frustrating because...
I think the biggest thing for him going down the stretch is trying to have better pitch recognition, because if he's able to do that, because I'm someone who still can struggle with that. Because if I see a ball and it's coming and at first my read is it's not going elevated, and then all of a sudden as soon as I'm starting to swing, it elevates on me, and I try to correct, I'm going to swing and miss. That's a given.
Well, and right now I think with Reyes, I call them what I call typical power hitters. Home run or strikeout. Really, there's nothing else. They either hit the bomb or it's a long double off the wall or they strike out.
That's still better than nothing. I think it's like as long as he's hitting above the Mendoza line, he's hitting 240 to 260.
And again,
be good.
I like Reyes. I really do. But if he does not if he does not control his strikeout rate, then it's a lost cause.
I mean, I think being in a DH and just having to focus on hitting, that's going to help him in the long run.
But from what I heard,
in the National League, he had to play in the field every day.
But I think he liked that. I really think he liked that.
He will still play the outfield, but I want to say that I think him being at DH exclusively for the moment, that will help him and his development as a hitter, especially next year if that's the case where he's like, let's say, 85% of the time he's a DH. That will help him more than I think people are realizing right now. He is one of the most intriguing guys. La Mole. I love it.
All right, let's switch gears to the pitching stuff. I can't believe the amount of pitchers we have. We got this Bieber.
Savali, Bieber,
we got Savali, Plesac, Clevenger, and you got Cookie coming back possibly out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
You got Plucko, who's okay. You got Kluber, who we don't know about him. We hope he's gonna be back.
I still wish we had shaken our boots right married. I'm just kidding. I just want to make a joke there.
Okay, so you look at the Indians. I believe, in my opinion, and I'm not just saying this is a homer, I think they are going to catch Minnesota. I think the Indians do win the Central. And I also believe that the Indians could beat the Yankees. I don't think they can beat Houston, but I really believe the Indians, because of their pitching. Their pitching is so much better than the Yankees.
That's a matter of
time. I do believe that as long as the Indians, because we know the Yankees have a great bullpen, as long as the Indians score enough, and their pitching doesn't completely falter, as long as you get up 4 or 5 runs, as long as your pitching only gives up 2 or 3, I think the Indians in a 5-game series in the ALDS could beat the Yankees, even if they're not the home team to start.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to see that. And honestly, Houston, we'll save that for another time.
No, Houston's good.
But I want to say this. I know people have forgotten about this guy. He was a former #1 overall pick, then signed with the Astros a couple years back, had UCL, Tommy John surgery, was drafted by the Indians. If this guy ever figures it out, and he's still young enough where he can do that, Brady Aiken.
Who?
Brady Aiken. He's a former #1 overall pick, didn't sign because of a discrepancy over his physical with the Astros back a couple drafts ago. I know that people are like, who is Brady Aiken? Brady Aiken is someone that if he figures himself out, even if he's not the same high velo pitcher he was, but he sits in like the low 90s to mid 90s, he's able to have a 3 or 4 pitch mix, and he's able to climb up the ladder the next 2 years. You have another viable option to replace one of your expiring contracts for pitchers, whether it be Kluber or whoever. And I also want to say this. Dolan's extend Bieber and Clevenger right now. I'm banging the table because I don't want to see them not stay in Cleveland for the long run. Extend them. If it costs us Lindor, fine. But extend those 2 right now.
Oh, I'm not paying Lindor. I've said
I want to give.
I have said honestly, this on this show. You cannot pay him. I don't care how good he is. This may be an
unpopular opinion, but I would rather decline Corey Kluber's option. Be able to have the money to give Lindor and still re-sign Kluber at a lower rate.
I'm trading Kluber this offseason.
You can't trade him coming off that. You cannot trade him.
No, listen. If he comes back, if he is back, and he pitches well in the postseason, because I've heard, I know he had a setback, but I believe he's going to be ready for the postseason.
He's not going to draw anywhere near the value he had last offseason.
Are you sure?
I'm certain. I'm certain because he's been too
Let's do a hypothetical. What if he pitches really well and we get to the World Series, and even if we lose,
he would have to pitch. He would have to pitch 7 innings, almost no ERA, for me to even consider that.
Really?
Because I think because he's had so many injuries pop up the last 2 years as well, back injuries, other injuries as well.
But this was almost like a freak accident.
I know that was a freak accident, but it's just like when you have back injuries, and I'm surprised like Clayton Kershaw honestly is still doing so well. When you have back injuries, that is not a good sign, and I'd rather try and re-sign Kluber at a lower rate for more years.
So, cool. Wait, hold on. Because I have a thought. So, Kluber is still under contract next year, correct or no?
An option.
I'm picking. I think it's
$17 million.
1 year. Okay.
$17 million. I would decline it and try to re-sign him for more years at a lower rate and still give him more money. That makes sense. Like maybe try for like 2
because next trade deadline, then I think you could look at it. Whatever you do, if you bring him back, I think next trade deadline.
But the thing is, how valuable is he going to be? I would try to.
That's what I'm saying. You pitch him till July. You see how good he is.
I would rather decline the option, re-sign him, decline Kipnis' option. You have Bauer's ARB salary off the books, and you will still be able. And under that scenario, you could actually re-sign Lindor to the Nolan Arenado type contract where he has an opt-out after year 3 or year 4 of an 8-year deal, and it will not hurt the Indians because here's why. It won't hurt the Indians because of all the excess value given. I want to also point this out. The Indians have never extended a homegrown superstar like this before, and if they do that, it'll draw fans back in. It may not be the biggest amount that you think it could be.
And why are fans not drawn in? We have a contending team, and you all want to blame the
Dolans. I'm not blaming the Dolans,
when the Dolans are in contention every single year for the last decade.
Hold on. I'm not blaming the Dolans. I'm saying the fans need to see them spend on one of their stars. If they are willing to spend on Lindor and give him even just, let's say they give him a 4-year extension for covering his next 2 ARB years and 2 years after that.
Is he going to want to sign that, though?
That's the thing. Does he want to sign that? Like that would basically act as like the contract I'm talking about, where he would have the opt out.
Because
you could also put in a provision if you wanted to maybe not be able to be slapped with a qualifying offer.
Let me point this out. I remember in 2016 when the report came out that the Indians offered Lindor a 6-year deal for $100 million.
7 years, I think.
He declined it because he's looking at 3 years ahead. He wants the big payday, and New York's going to give it to him, or Houston, or whoever.
I think the Indians cannot let him get away.
Let him get away. You cannot build. This isn't basketball. You don't build your team around one star. If you're going to pay Fransisco Lindor, you're going to...
Here's the thing, though. If you sign Lindor, his contract won't be that much of a factor because anyone would pay for that contract.
You're going to be in a Philly situation, an Angel situation, a Tiger situation down the road where you're paying these guys. San Diego is going to be in a couple of years. You're paying these guys...
Well, these guys have opt-out clauses, so that's what I'm saying. Use the opt-out because if you get Lindor under contract for the next 4 years and then he opts out 2 years after he could have hit free agency, you will have more excess value than you would have gotten. And I think then that's worth it. Like, let's say you give him 8 and 240, around what Nolan Arenado got, $30 million average per year. I know that's a lot, but he is the only player on this roster that is worth that type of money.
I understand, but I'm also trying to stay in contention. I'm not trying to.
That's the thing, though. Bauer's salary gone. Kipnis' salary gone. Decline Kluber's option, re-sign him at a lower rate. You have the money then to do it and be able to build long term because there will be guys who are gone.
Yeah, but then
and there will be guys who we still have a good farm system too, because there are guys down there like Bo Naylor. There are other people that can help fill the gaps once all these other contracts come up.
Yeah, but then you got to replace either move Jose to second and get another third baseman, or you got to replace Kipnis at second base.
Well, they have guys who could either go to second or third base. So,
Kipnis.
Are you going to pay Kipnis $16 to $17 million?
Oh, I'm not paying him $16, $17
So you're going to decline that option.
But if he wants to come back at a reasonable rate, I would try to bring him back.
Because that's what I would do. Like Kipnis,
he's valuable. He's a great locker room guy, and he's better than people think.
Yeah, Jason Kipnis. I'm not hating you. I'm just saying, I'm just saying under my scenario perspective. But yeah, I don't want to keep arguing on this.
You know what I always say, Sean, and you know this is my motto in sports. No emotion. I do not get emotionally attached to players. You cannot, because it's hard to move on. When Trevor Bauer got traded, you know what I said? Good riddance. I love you, Bauer, but the deal we got was really good, and goodbye, have fun in Cincinnati. No emotion. You cannot have emotions for it. You can have emotions with friends. I have good friends that I lean on all the time. You can have very good emotions with them. You cannot in sports. There is no emotion when it comes to players. You just, we got to find somebody else.
But when you get invested into something, you're a fan. I feel like not having emotions. I'm just saying this as my closing point. I feel like
you can be a fan, but like, you have to be realistic.
Can I get a word here? I feel like having emotions about players is okay. And if you are able to accept the fact that they've moved on, that's all right.
That I can agree with.
That's where, like, I feel like emotions, yes, you're going to miss a player. But not having emotions, I feel like that's taking the fun out of things. I kind of understand your perspective, but that takes away, like, some of the joy because you make it seem too much like a business from the fan side rather than just leaving the business in the game itself.
I've never gotten why the fans are not in support of the owners and the general managers. Why the fans always support the players.
They always support the front office. It's just the owners.
No, that's not true because the fans are always, this guy needs to get paid. Like people are saying Lindor. If I'm an Indians fan, I don't want Lindor to get paid nothing. I want him to get paid $500K. I don't want my guys getting paid. I didn't want Carson Wentz getting paid $32 million. That's the reality I'm faced. I think it's a good deal because quarterbacks make a lot of money, but I didn't want him getting paid $32 million. I want him getting paid $2 million. I don't want to pay people, and it's not being cheap. It's I want the best team on the field.